This church had no organ, it had no choir, only pure rhythm. It was this rhythm that influenced a small boy. This was the beginning of a journey for William Christopher Handy. And St. Louis Blues, like his other blues compositions, earned for him the title Father of the Blues. The son of an ex-slave, W.C.Handy was to become a musician, school teacher, composer, and music publisher. When he was no more than 10, William could catalog almost any sound that came to his ear. The blue jay became William's French horn. The tapping of the woodpecker was his snare drum. The bullfrog, his bass. The wailing of the moo cow became his saxophone, and the whippoorwills, his clarinets. The sounds of nature built up a natural symphony for young Handy.
Doing out here this time of night?
Mr. Turner! Mr. Turner!
Yeah, boy, what you want?
Mr. Turner, I want to be a musician just like you.
So you want to be a musician, huh? So you love music. Well, I'll tell you, son. You see, being a musician just ain't blowing no horn, beating the drum or playing the piano. Being a musician is like, well, it's like that rose over there. It's got thorns all around it, but it's got beauty. Now take me. I've been playing music for a long, long time. And if you really want to play, if you really feel it way down deep inside you, you'll play. Just remember, son, it's a long, long way to beauty. And that's what music is, beauty. Just like that rose over there.
Jim Turner planted in William's heart a seed of desire. And he wanted to play. He really wanted to play. At 18, William was ready to play. And it was Jim Turner who gave him his first job. His pay was $8 a day. William remembered when he had earned only $3 a week. And the work had been much harder. Handy decided to head for St. Louis, the cradle of ragtime. St. Louis, unfortunately, was not kind to him. He found it difficult to find work, difficult to find the beauty of the rose in a big city. St. Louis hammered the thorns of life deep into William, very deep. The whole country was in the throes of the panic of 1893. People were without work, people were hungry, and the W.C.Handy Quartet was no exception. Hard times finally forced them to disband. There were many days after that when Handy went without food. But it was when the evening sun went down that he was most alone. His bed was the gutter. His blanket, the wind and the rain. There were times when he turned his face toward the black night, and his eyes filled with tears. In the stilled darkness from the wail of a man, there echoed the blues. His life had changed from professional musician to musical hobo and member of a road gang. The old folks, you know, employed music in an interesting way. They used to sing about the times when they got religion. Well, Handy was learning what it was like to come out of the wilderness. And it wasn't long before he was back to playing. The leading contender in a political race hired W.C.Handy to compose a campaign song. It was a known fact that the best notes got the most votes. And it was the bouncy, rhythmic staccato of life on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee that Handy put to music. His notes did get the votes. Two years later, he decided to have his hit campaign song published as the Memphis Blues. The publisher told him that very few copies of the song had been sold, but offered to buy the composition outright for $50. Actually, the publisher had sold 1,500 copies in just 3 days. Discouraged, Handy sold the new printing plates and the copyright, free of royalties, retaining only his credit for being the author of the hit song. For Handy, it was the end of the Memphis Blues for the next 28 years. He had made a mistake, but he swallowed his resentment and continued to write. He had to write a new sound, a new blues, one that would go far beyond the Memphis Blues. His mind became flooded with memories. And when the sun went down one evening in 1914, Handy again felt alone. He rented a small room on Beale Street where his thoughts began to flow into music. When morning came, he had finished the song. And he called it the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues brought fame to W.C.Handy. He later wrote Yellow Dog Blues, Joe Turner Blues, Hesitating Blues, Loveless Love, and many others. And finally, as a farewell to the street, he composed Beale Street Blues. Handy and a lyric writer by the name of Harry H. Pace became partners. Together they formed the Pace-Handy Publishing Company in Memphis. In 1918, Pace and Handy moved their firm to New York City. For the next 10 years, their business grew steadily. But during the mid-20s, racial prejudice reared its ugly head. Recording studios refused to publish Handy's releases. Chain stores eliminated their music counters. The company of Pace and Handy fell as fast as it had grown, and Pace withdrew from the partnership. Handy held on. Through the day, he was at his desk running the store. Through the night, he was at his piano, arranging, composing. But his health was now failing. The people of Memphis, Tennessee, wrote a happy chapter in the book of Handy's life in 1931 when they erected a statue in his image and named a new city park square in his honor. On March 28, 1958, W.C. Handy, totally blind, but with the spirit of a young man, reached the end of his journey. His life had begun with the theme song of nature. It ended with the ballad of life, a life expressed in the loneliness, bitterness, tragedy, and love of the blues.